There you go. Let's see here. Oh, automatic eye right away. Internet's doing good. Y'all ready?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. Welcome to episode 28 of Creators Makers Podcast. Man, I get tied up on that.
It's all good,
for
buddy.
some reason, I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, and today we got the Northside boy AJ from CRAFTEDINNJ joining us today. How's it going?
What's going on, everyone? How's everybody doing?
Doing good. So we usually start the show off, and but by the way, before we start anything, I gotta have a me time here and say the people I can't talk today.
Makers Creative Podcast.
Yeah.
Me time and peepers really shouldn't be in the show.
I got my shaper trace just to let everybody know.
Oh.
Yay.
Jenny's not the only one. Anyhow, we're gonna get going here. So AJ, we usually start off the show and just give us a little background on how you got started in this obsession.
All right. So as a recovering alcoholic, I had to kind of figure out ways to keep my mind busy and whatnot. So a little bit before this, I just recently kind of got into the maker scene back in 2019, and before that, I'm a gearhead. I love working on engines, cars, trucks, you name it. If I could take it apart and put it back together, I want to learn how to do it. So as I was going through my sobriety, I wanted to find ways to keep myself busy. So I would go to my day job and stay there until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, just tinkering, literally on my own personal stuff and whatnot. And then as I got further along in my sobriety, I finally was able to buy a house. Once I bought that house, I don't decorate. I had like white walls. I had minimal stuff in here. And then I met my now wife, and she came in and she's like, "Oof, where's all the stuff?" And I'm like, it's decorated. I got a couch, a TV. What else do you need? So she's like, well, good. Yeah, right. And then, she started staying over, and then she's like, we need some shelves. And so I just, put together some farmhouse shelves. Farmhouse was a huge thing, and made some brackets out of metal, piece of 2x6, I think it was, stained it, called it shelves. And literally then it took off from there. And I've been in the maker scene ever since then. I think we started in July of 2019, and I haven't stopped. And I love being part of it. It's great.
Nice. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, and congratulations on your sobriety.
Thank you.
I'm Jake Thompson for people at home, and from Northside Custom Crafts, and I usually do an icebreaker. My icebreaker for you, sir, is: do you even make flags, bro?
I make a lot of them. Let's put it that way. It's the flag scene. When I got into the flag scene, it was flooded already. Everybody was making them. Everybody was making flat flags and whatnot. A few people were making the wavy 3D looking ones, and I got my start in it when a gentleman put out a challenge for what was it called? Makers Never Forget, and it was to oh man, I'm tongue tied now. Joey, you gave it to me.
He does that. He does that.
It's to honor our first responders on National First Responder Day. So I didn't want to present a flat version. So I said, you know what? Let me do something different. And I found a diagram on how to do a wavy one. It was real simple. Looking back at it now, before I was terrified to do it. And now I'm hand carving them, adding all 3D logos and whatnot. So flags are a huge part of my little makerism. Let's put it that way.
They're nice.
It's going good though. I love it.
Yeah, they look really awesome. You were saying it gives you anxiety. Like every time I see you grabbing the carver and you're just going at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But they turn out beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Early on, So I use an angle grinder with a cut-saw disc, and very early on, I always have a guard on my grinder when I'm using like a cutoff wheel or something like that for metal. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the guard off because I can get into like more carving area and whatnot. But I like to choke up on the grinder a lot. And I nicked my one knuckle really, really bad, actually. And no one was home. So my my wife, I sent her a picture and she's like, you're good. You're good. So she comes home that night and she says, let me see how it is. And I show her, she's like, you should have went to the hospital and got some stitches. So let's just say after that, I put the guard on it and I haven't done that since. But it's an amazing feeling being able to take a grinder and a piece of wood and make something out of it. Just seeing it go from a flat piece to something creative is really mind-blowing still to this day. And I love seeing the transformation of them.
Yeah. I realize I didn't ask a question in there. So
Good
first, sorry everyone.
Jeez, Jenny.
I know. It's been a day. So hi everyone, I'm Jen with Jen's Turn. My question related to your flags and everything, they're always finished beautifully. What do you use to seal them and put that nice finish on it?
So if they're an indoor flag, which most of them are, I'll use Minwax polyacrylic in a matte finish. I steer clear of gloss or semi-gloss or even the flat. The matte I found to be shiny enough, but dull enough to give like this. It doesn't take away from the waves or any of the pattern that's in it. And a lot of people have really given me a lot of feedback. A lot of customers like that. I've steered clear. Like people go, I really want it shiny and whatnot. I'm like, trust me, I've been doing this for a little bit now. And as soon as they get it, they're like, this is absolutely perfect. And then if they go outdoors, I'm using General Finishes 405, I believe it is. It's an exterior finish. And I've used Total Boat Halcyon before, but I kind of went away from that only because I wasn't having the best results with it. So my General Finishes is where I'm at with outdoor.
Nice.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt with Wacky Works. Tell me about your shop. What you got going on in there? I see that you got some adjustable tables and stuff. I saw some stuff that you did before, but what you got going on in there?
So where I'm at right now, this is like I have 3 parts to my shop. And I'm lucky enough because my wife just said, just take whatever over. The basement's all yours. So this is our main basement. And right behind me, that's where I usually paint stars and whatnot. And then shipping in here. And then through that door back there, I have my CNC, my laser, and just like a holding room. Then in my garage, it's a single car garage. I want to say it's like 14 by 22 or something like that. Really short ceilings, though. I'm pushing, I want to say maybe like 7 foot at the highest. And so I have height limitations, but
Man, you're tall.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean,
Is that a common thing in Jersey? You know,
it is. You know, I could say it's very tall for a certain friend of mine, but I don't want to get into that right now. It's like cathedral ceilings for him.
Hello.
But in the main shop, I have the norm, the table saw, band saw, miter saw. I've expanded since I started. So when I first started, I had a Cobalt portable job site saw, which I was terrified of. I hated table saws. I never, knock on wood, I haven't had kickback, but I had wood because I used to deal with a lot of pine. So it was, big box store pine, and it was under a lot of tension. So as soon as I cut it, it would want to pinch right onto the riving knife. And I was terrified. So then I upgraded finally to a bigger saw. And then over the years, it's just been literally Facebook Marketplace. I found my bandsaw. I found my dream drum sander on Facebook Marketplace. So it's it's a Ryobi 1836, I believe it is. It's an old model, but I found it somewhere 3 hours away out in Pennsylvania, and I had to snatch it up. So the shop is small, but it's not my ideal. I want a 14 car garage and then, 10 foot 20-foot
15?
ceiling, something like that. You know, just something small.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
3 days a week, yeah.
it grows pretty much every single day, and I like the layout now. I can't really change the layout, so I'm kind of stuck with what I got until I move or something happens.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jamie from JP Woodwork. So welcome, AJ. First things first. So I've always liked the wavy flags that people have made. Where did you come up with the idea to personalize it with a crest raised on one of the parts of the flag? Because usually I see them with like maker coins or crest coins or something like that on them.
Mm-hmm. So when I first got into it, I had a couple people reach out. They wanted their, the fire department logo put onto it, a personalized logo. And my wife, she's a painter, so she likes to paint. And I would pass the flag off to her. I would trace it out with some carbon paper, so she got an outline of it. And kind of it was in a weird spot because I didn't have the depth of wave that I do now. So it kind of just melded into the whole flag and into the wave. But she would all hand paint every single logo on there. And then once I kind of got a little bit more busy, she was doing some, then I tried to take it on as well. I'm not the greatest painter. I shake when I paint. So it's, my lines aren't as crisp and whatnot. And then I dove into the whole laser world. And then that opened up a whole new world where I could do 3D raised logos. And now it gives it so much more dimension. But it all stemmed from just somebody asking, can you do this? And I said, without knowing I could, I just said, yeah, of course I can. That's fine. We could get it done. And let me just say, we got it done. And there's a lot of flags out there that we're both really proud of. And the people who received them were blown away by it, because I still remember this one. It was for a local fire department. You'd hold up the picture next to the painting and you'd never know which one was which. That's how good she did. And now it's just a whole different dimension. Actually, I got one right next to me. I came prepared. So this one, let's see if I can do this. So these are all 3D raised. These are all cut on the laser and then painted individually and painstakingly put together. Fine details, I'll paint. I'll still hand paint stuff. All the stars, I can't point. All the stars over here are all hand painted. So I love doing them. I love seeing them all come together.
What was really good about that flag is as you was moving it a lot, it truly did look like a wavy flag.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm still blown away every time I carve them that I can achieve something like this.
Yeah.
I don't know for you guys, but as a maker, I carve out flags and they're kind of the same way, but it's my style. So, but every time I carve it, I hate it. I hate every single carve job. I swear, I'm not even joking. I walked inside after carving 5 flags back to back. And I said to my wife, I hate every single one of them. And she says, let me see. So she sees them. She's like, what's wrong with them? I'm like, they all look the same. They had their deviations to them. But she's like, yeah, but they're not going to the same person. So who cares? And I'm like, yeah, but they look really bad. They're the same wave pattern and all this. She goes, but they're your style.
It's your signature.
It is. And it's funny. I had a couple people locally see a couple of my flags at their friend's house. So they send me a picture of it. They go, this is yours, right? And they only knew because it's my style. But yet in my head, I want to change my style so bad, but yet everybody knows my style. So I'm like, I'm torn. Do I change it? Do I keep it? It's a tough battle. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to make it look more wavy in a different way, but I'm just like, maybe I'll just keep it instead of trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. There you go. We have some mutual friends out in the northern parts up there, that they pressed me, well, not pressed me, but they said they wanted me to ask you a question.
Okay.
And we're not going to mention any names, but they want to know that why only a one-day appearance to Maker Camp, and they're kind of concerned. They said if you needed any help, they would help out to extend your stay. And so maybe you can explain. And another part that they told me to really stress is why only I'm kind of just getting familiar with Maker Camp, so they wanted to know why only the pass where you just watch and not participate.
All right. So I'm going to first say I don't trust anyone from Southern Jersey or South Jersey who calls it pork roll and not Taylor ham. So that's a big dispute in Jersey. So those people down there, I don't trust
Those people.
yeah, they're not normal. If you look on a map, there's a defined line between North Jersey and South Jersey, and it just says normal people at the top and like questionable down below, and he's in the questionable part. So Maker Camp, he's this person has busted my chops multiple times about Maker Camp because the very first year I was supposed to go, I didn't because I was too scared to go. I have a very big problem. I don't do well in crowds. I don't do well with new things. So I had to work up courage to go the next year. And so this past October was my second year there. And the reason I only go for one day is I'm still socially awkward with that. I don't like staying somewhere where it's not my own house and whatnot. You know, it's like the luxuries of my own house. I'm close enough that technically I could just drive back and forth if I really wanted to. And he's just going to say that these are all excuses, so I already can hear it.
Well, but to kind of, it wasn't really from him. This is another mutual friend that we have. So I'm gonna try.
Is this
I'm gonna
one
get him
taller?
off the hook a little bit. Huh? Yeah, slightly. I guess I don't know.
I feel your pain because I don't like people, places, or things either.
Yeah, this is like the really the biggest reason I feel like an outcast when I go there, and it's strange to say because I'm part of the maker community, but I feel like everyone there is like the cool kids, and I'm the degenerate that's going to walk into where the cool kids are, and now I'm like, hey guys, can I play with you? You know. And even though everyone at Maker Camp is so welcoming, they will literally hold your hand, and I know he would, and he would probably like it too. And he would hold my hand and bring me around, but I don't want to be also a burden to anybody. So this is like going to turn into a therapy session. Soon I'm going to be laying on a couch somewhere telling you what I see inside the blob or something.
How does that make you feel?
As long as no other people are there, you can get the couch.
Next year we can be socially awkward and be the same way. We can be in our own little corner over there because I'm gonna try to make it up there. So we'll see how that goes.
It's a great experience. I love it, and the reason I don't get a making pass is for that exact reason. I don't know how to enter the tents and ask, how to start. Do you just grab a hammer and then just swing at some metal? Do you just? So there's a lot of questions that I don't know that I don't want to ask because
Right.
I'm awkward like that. So there's a lot of mental things that go along with it. Maybe some therapy sessions would help me, but
No, I think it's pretty normal. We go to I've been to the one in England, and it's the same kind of thing. You see people you see on YouTube and stuff, and you're like, oh man, I know them, but they don't know me.
yeah.
And I'm not just going to say, hi, how you doing? Like, it's super weird sometimes, but it's not only happening to you. Other people feel that way.
Yeah, it's tough. I next year I plan 100% to get the making pass because every time I go there, it's incredible seeing this stuff, and seeing it being made. I've never blacksmithed, so I'm going to be hitting up the hammer in when they have it. And that'll set me up for next year's Maker Camp. So then, maybe I'll go up multiple days. Maybe I'll room and board with this unknown person or unnamed person, maybe in the same bed or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know what he's what his intentions are. But I know that if I asked him, like, hey, just show me around and help me, get introduced on how to start blacksmithing and whatnot, I know he would. So. And everyone there, like I said, it's like a family. It really, really is. You don't even need to know so many people to know everyone. once you walk up to somebody, they're welcoming, but it's just my awkwardness that holds me back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peopling is hard sometimes.
Yeah,
It's rough. It's a rough life,
is.
man.
Yeah.
Speaking of that unnamed person, he doesn't like anyone. So I'm surprised he even likes being around everyone.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not that one individual. I think this guy's further north of you, maybe.
Okay.
So-
All right. So I'm sorry for throwing shade at that other unknown person.
It's funny anyway.
It was funny.
Don't know him.
It's short and sweet, but we're all
Yeah,
right.
right. Anyway,
Yeah, I heard you say you had a CNC. What kind is it? And do you think people that CNC have no woodworking skills since you carve yours?
so it's a Millwright Mega V 35 by 35, the XL version, and it's running off of a DeWalt little router, and it's all rack and pinion, so no ball and screw or belts or anything like that. And I don't push it. I still haven't done 3D carving with it. It's a really nice CNC for what it is, and the price point was pretty spot on for an introductory CNC that's large enough that I could do certain things. And to your second question, yes and no. If you just hit the button to go, then and do nothing else, then to me, then you're not really woodworking. Now, if you incorporate it plus some woodworking, then yeah, it's part of woodworking. I do it. I done, engraved insignias on my flags. I hand carve the flags, but then I use the CNC because I don't want to sit there with a Dremel doing it. So let the machine do it.
Yeah.
So it's good. I like the CNC was the first one that I got, and it's go ahead.
So I guess you carved the flags because you just enjoy doing it, or is that like a therapy session in itself, kind of like wood turning or something like that?
It's definitely a therapy session. I go out there, put some music on, and I'm just in my backyard carving, worrying if the neighbors are going to call the cops on me because I'm making a lot of noise. And but it is a therapy session. And the one thing that I strive to do is I want these flags as handmade as possible. I would like to get into the 3D carving aspect and carve some on the CNC, but label them as CNC carved.
Right.
I could sell them at a different price point. Maybe I could even do them a little bit quicker. And that way I get into a different market. But if I'm gonna promote something handmade, I want it to be made with my two hands. Not just slapping the wood onto a CNC, hitting a button, and then just spray finishing it and calling it a day. From the start to the end, my hands are touching the flag from the beginning to the end, and I love it.
Nice.
It's nice to be able to say it is handmade.
Yeah.
There you
What's your favorite tool in your shop? The one you just can't do without?
Oof. You put me on the spot with that one. I would say my 80-watt Ohmtech laser. That thing has opened up so many doors of possibility for me. I love that thing.
Yeah.
I have so much anxiety over different things. I sat there with that laser in my shopping cart for way too long. And Josh from North Country Woodworking he introduced me to lasers. So I bought a little Ortor laser, and I was really struggling with that thing because it took so long to cut through 1/8-inch Baltic birch. It took so long to do pretty much anything. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to upgrade. And, $3,000 is a lot of money. And I'm like, am I going to make this back? And long story short, I bought the laser. It showed up, and I let it sit for 6 months before I put it together.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you're privy of the Sawdust Nation podcast that I was part of earlier on. I used to talk about this tool that I still have in the box that's 3.5 years old that I still haven't touched, and it just sits there. So the laser was just going along that way until Josh really gave me the boot and said, "You better get that thing up and running." And let me tell you, that has been the most incredible tool that is, I couldn't live without that thing. I don't know what I would be doing right. I'd still be hand painting, and I really don't want to. So the laser is definitely my choice.
Yeah, the laser is my favorite.
You have no poker face, Jen. We know.
I know.
I saw her. I saw her.
You said she went, yee.
What? I have the OhmTech also, and mine definitely did not sit for 6 months. But I had gotten the K40.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a resin ashtray. I don't know if you know JD Customs in Jersey.
I was just listening to the episode too.
Yeah. So I saw his, and so I made one, and some friends of mine that own a knife shop here, they're like, okay, we'll trade you this K40 laser for one of your ashtrays. And I was like, all right. I was wanting to try the laser. And so I had it, and I used it a few times, and I'm like, yep, this is not good enough. And I went and I got the big OhmTech too. So, and I love it.
And how many watts is it? Do you know?
It's
Hey, she was trying not to shame you, dude.
I don't. It doesn't matter.
Go
it's
ahead.
100 watt.
Okay. If I had more, see, I had a couple factors that went into why I had to go with the 80 watt, and I had to fit through a very narrow doorway from my garage into the back room. I don't know why they made it so narrow, but if I went any bigger, I couldn't fit it. So I had to have a buddy of mine come over, and we actually had to flip it on its side and walk it through the doorway and then put it into place. And I only had a very limited spot to keep it because now I'm sandwiched. I have my laser on my left, my CNC on my right, and my computer in the middle. So I couldn't go any bigger, or I would have probably went like 120 or whatever it is, 140.
Yeah.
But I'm kicking myself a little bit. You know, maybe I could have busted the door down and just gotten the bigger one in. But, you know, the 80 watt does exactly what I need. I'm not cutting through anything serious, you know, just 1/8 inch Baltic birch. So, and then I go with a rotary every once in a while. It suits my needs, you know, until it dies.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. And I almost got the 80 so that I could bring it in the house also, but I knew myself. I wanted the larger bed size, which is why I went with the 100, so I could get the larger bed size. And it's in the garage, which sometimes I regret. But
yeah, I'm lucky where mine is. I don't have to worry about anything freezing or anything like that. So because my furnace is like 2 feet from it, so it keeps it nice and warm down there. So I never have to worry about the tube, you know, busting or whatnot. That's one good thing.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
right.
if you take the fact you got a CNC, you got a laser, what kind of software are you using for that? And do you find any difficulties with it?
So when I get into something, I like to just go head first in it. I don't like to trial and error it. And I went right into Aspire right off the get-go, literally not knowing anything about this software. Oh yeah, that's it. Jump right in. Come on, the water's warm. So I did a lot of trial and error with a Vectric Aspire, and I still use that program today. And then for the laser, I'm using Lightburn, which Lightburn is the most impressive program I have ever laid my hands on. I use Lightburn to design a lot of stuff for my vinyl cutter because the vinyl cutter software is horrible. I don't know who designed it. It's almost like just drawing with a pen and paper and then trying to like shove it into your computer to make it known. But I designed it. Everything is designed in Lightburn. So the difficulties of Vectric was I have a very good funny story with my very first CNC project. Well, not project. So I wanted to do juice grooves on this cutting board that I did. And I said, hey, I have a CNC. Let the machine do it. And so I programmed in a little circle, or a little square, and chose my router bit. And I was using Harbor Freight router bits. So I had a Harbor Freight bowl bit. I didn't know what kind of bits to use. It's a router. This is a router bit. They marry up. So I didn't know anything about depth of pass. I didn't know anything about number of passes. I didn't know anything. So I set this whole thing up. I hit go. And let me tell you, that router made some ungodly noises for like 2 minutes straight. This thing was rattling, shaking all over the place. I'm like, this thing's brand new. I'm going to destroy it. It's done at this point. And after those 2 minutes, it came out beautiful. I had a juice groove. I was shaking, and I never did that again. Let's just say that. I learned very quickly to what depth the cut is and all that. So there were a lot of difficulties, even with light burn. But I think going from the CNC programming to then using light burn, it was an easy transition. But the CNC was a lot of touch and go because I just had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what upcut, downcut. I didn't know what these kind of bits were versus these speeds and feeds. I don't know.
Who needs those?
What am I feeding the router? I don't like. Am I giving it coins or something?
Just get her done.
Like I don't know. Just max it out at that point. So yeah, there's a learning curve on it, but it worked out in the end. Now, I don't know if you've ever gone in your old programs that you might have done, but I went back into an old 2-year Vetric file that I was in. I'm like, ooh, who designed this? The bits were wrong, the speeds were wrong, the feeds were. I'm like, oh my Lord, no wonder nothing worked right because I had no idea what I was doing. So it's always fun to go see your old work.
It's about fun, but yeah.
Like, what settings was I using? I'm surprised it still works at this point with those settings. I think I was running at 1 inch per minute or something. The router was going so slow. I'm like, this is how fast people engrave stuff, And I don't know, whatever, just hit go and let it do its thing. It's going to take 10 hours. That's fine. On this simple engraving.
All right. So I've got a question for you about grinders. I presume you got a fair few of them because of the carving and such. Is there a particular brand that you angle towards?
I can through the angle in there. There is, and I stick with. I love my Milwaukee cordless stuff. I love it. You can't trade anything in the world, but I will say Makita plug-in grinders are the best grinders out there. I've beat them. I've dropped them. I've done a lot of damage to them. Let's just put it that way. I push my grinder, and when I'm grinding these flags out, I don't go easy. I want them done as quick as possible, and I want them done now. So I'm pushing them to the limit, and I only had I have 4 total. Out of all 4, I think I had 1 burn out on me that was maybe 15 years old. And so the 4 new ones I have, those are still kicking it. No problems whatsoever. Maybe the brushes are getting a little worn, but those things are workhorses. Those Makita grinders, and they're cheap. You could get a 2-pack from Home Depot for next to nothing and just beat them up.
Really? They sell them in 2-packs?
Shout out Home Depot.
Yeah. Well, Home Depot, if you're listening, I can use some more grinders.
I love you, Home Depot.
You may not be you may not want me in the picture when it comes to Home Depot.
Yeah.
We got a loving relationship, I'm going to tell you that.
The homie nemesis.
Home Depot, if you're listening, come to the UK.
Yeah, right. But yeah, they sell them in a 2-pack. It comes with it pretty much sets you right up. 2 grinders, all the shields, the handles, and then even they give you grinding discs too, for metal. But I mean, they still set you up with them. And I want to say it's only $140 or something like that.
Really?
And they last. They last a long time.
He's putting them in his cart right now.
Yeah, right.
How did I
Like
get
if you need.
Do they give you band-aids in case you don't use the guard?
Yeah, let me tell you that was not fun. And the other thing is, I see a lot of people using the grinders with their handle, so they're holding the body of it and then the handle. I can't do that. I hold them right on the whole body. No handle, no nothing like that.
Yeah, she's lurking back there. That's why I asked. Is she in the chat? She's lurking in there. So, AJ, you've constantly trying to make room, whatever, in your shop. Is there any plans to build a bigger shop in the future? Is that something you strive for? Or you just comfortable where you're at?
I'm not comfortable where I'm at, but I have I can't build anything here. One, I have no money to build anything. Two, my area is not set up for that. I would love to be on, probably 10, 20, maybe 40 acres with no one around. And then I could just do whatever I want,
There you go.
So where I'm on a very small plot of land, and you can't build anything. So the best I could do is, if I really wanted to, I could add an overhang on the side of my house and then make it like an open space. But there's really no plans for that. I guess at this point, I just got to kind of work with what I got, and that's really it. Everything's mobile, so if I needed to, I could roll it out in the driveway. That's my expansion. Roll it out in the driveway and then roll it back in, and that's really it.
I was checking out your website and seeing what you had in stock, and there wasn't anything in stock. And then there's a form to fill out and all that stuff. Are you that busy, or is everything that you do custom made, or is not really anything to put into a stock to where people can just buy, or how's that process go?
So ever since I started, I wanted to always have a stock item or stock of something that I could, I can have and then just sell. But every single order that I get, they want, their custom patches on it, their names on it. So there's so many customizations that have to be done that I couldn't really keep anything in stock, because pretty much no one ever wanted just a plain Jane flag, either, in whatever style it might be. They always wanted to add something. And my ultimate goal, which I'm kind of on par for, is I would like to do some stock flags, red, white, blue, thin red lines, certain things like that, and just sell them as is, sell them a little cheaper. And then at least I can get my product out there. And if somebody's in a pinch, like, hey, Christmas is tomorrow, I need something, I at least have it. But currently, no, nothing's in stock. And honestly, I don't know how to set up a website. That website took me way too long, way too many frustrating days and nights, and I kind of just left it the way it was.
It's a hard life, dude. It's a hard life. Let me tell you.
I thought I got on Squarespace and I thought that thing was going to be nice and simple. I clicked on something and it's like, what do you want me to do? It's giving me other pictures, other text. I'm like, I'm reading somebody else's bio. I'm like, what do I do with this? And so it was, let's just say,
you got to update it.
let's just say I went on there. I clicked out probably, 20, 30 times, and then just said, I'll just deal with it tomorrow. Tomorrow coming around, I deal with it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'll just deal with it next week. And then it just wound up the way it is.
I have just a sidebar here. I have a Squarespace website, and I've spent a lot of time on it. Once you figure it out and get it working for you, it's a very, very powerful tool.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could definitely see that. Yeah. It's I want to set up the shop at some point. But yeah, that'll hopefully be sometime next year. I'll be able to do that.
Need some advice. Slide up in my DMs, buddy.
You'll be putting everything on there for free and then probably sending it to your house.
No.
Automatic shipment right to your house.
Yeah. Hey, got it. Nothing's for free in prison, buddy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of swing it towards the family aspect here. You mentioned your wife helps you do the painting and everything, and I noticed that you guys are now pregnant and going to have a baby. So congratulations!
Thank you
on that.
Aww.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she continuing to help with the business? Does she only do the painting, or does she help you with like order processing? Is it like full teamwork here, or is it mostly just you?
She was like, yo, I'm out. That's on you. You got it now. She's like, you know how to paint, so just paint. I'm like, well, but I'm not that good. No, she'll help me out if she needs to. But really, since I went the laser route, it's kind of just been all on me, which I'm fine with. I have no problem doing it. If I needed something that I couldn't do or whatnot, she would definitely help out. But she's more just doing her own thing. You know, she works actually at our day job. She works right next to me. So she's in the office while I'm out working on vehicles. So she's got that to deal with. When it was easier when COVID hit, that she was home. And so I would get, some orders and whatnot, and she would just paint, all day long. And then I'd come home, the painting would be done, and then I'd be able to stain it. So it worked out a little bit different when she wasn't working full time.
Nice.
But yeah, and now with the little one on the way, it's a whole different animal, because also I'm building our crib. So I took on that project as well on top of all my other projects. Why not add something else?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's always room
that's-
for something else.
Of course, that's how us makers are. We can never stick to one thing.
Oh no.
That's right.
So, out of all the tools in your shop that you got going on, if you had to get rid of one of them, what would it be, and why?
My jointer. I hate that thing. I hate it. I hate it with a burning passion.
Straight to hate.
You just got it going, didn't you?
Nah, it's whatever. I just don't want it. I just want to buy S4S wood, just rip it down on the table saw, let somebody else do all that work, not me. It's fine now, but if you held me to it and said like you have to get rid of one, and like I had to split second decision, that's it. Gone. Kick it right outside the door, put it on the curb. It's a 6-inch
joiner. It's 6-inch what?
6-inch Craftsman that I bought used. Somebody had it. They spilt paint all over it. It was rusty. And it kind of just sat there. I cleaned it up and had no idea what I was doing. It had a crooked fence. It had crooked blades. It had worn blades, loose belt. And I just said, yeah, let's try it out. Tried it out, and it wasn't good. So I just set it to the side and forgot about it.
You didn't have a joiner.
Yeah. And if somebody said, do you have it? It's here. I just don't know how to use it.
That's what we call it.
But yeah, it would be the jointer.
Okay.
100%.
There you go. All right. So when carving your flags, do you have a preference on what kind of carving wheels or discs to use?
Yes, I do. I love my cut-saw discs. Well,
all right, Joey.
If you asked me 4 months ago, I would 100% say it's cut-saw, and I love my cut-saw. The problem is the last couple discs that I've had have failed me miserably, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a lack of their product quality or whatnot. Maybe something slipped through the cracks. But I bought the same exact disc recently, and it's not performing as well as the other ones. I mean, like I said, I push these discs. I hammer into that wood, and some of them just tear through the wood like nothing. And then this one was just kind of like scraping a butter knife over it, trying to gouge at it. But I'm still going with my cut saw. I know that there's one of my deep friends down in South Jersey, tries pushing me into his like deep dark cave that he's got with all these other discs in there, and I tried them, but I didn't care for them, so I'm going to stick with cut saw. Just going to stick with it.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a few things.
So when you start a flag, I've been following you for a while, and I see sometimes I'm like, geez, this guy is super freaking busy, and it's like, knowing we have a day job and having to come home and burn the midnight oil, how long does it take you to produce one flag, like from start to finish, ready to go out? Because I mean, it's so much detail in it. Seems like it takes forever to do something like that.
Yeah, if I stuck to it and did it every single night, I could probably get one flag done, I would say, in at least 2 weeks, probably less. But right now, it could take me months. I have one guy. He's a close friend of mine. He has been waiting 2 years for 3 flags, and he's understanding that I got a lot going on. This other guy, don't listen to him. Don't listen to that guy who commented.
He's quick on the trigger.
He is. It wasn't 3 years. No, it was 3 years. He's right. So I had my Southern Jersey friend. He won an early podcast giveaway, and I told him I'd make him a flag, and I kept on putting it off. I'm like, he's another maker. He can wait. Hang on. And so, but the flag I gave him at Maker Camp was one that he would have never had that style flag if I had given it to him earlier, because my flags have changed 1,000 times since he won that one. So it was better that I was able to give him something with more pizzazz than just a mediocre one. So I know he likes it. So he might bust my chops on that, but he really likes it.
There you go.
I see you've been doing, you do some cups. You engrave on some cups. Do you have a special rotating device in there, or is it something that you do a lot of or get a lot of orders on, or is it just something you do for fun, basically?
I went down the rabbit hole of the rotary because I said, well, everyone's doing tumblers, so it's a hot market. Let me get into it. And I sold more tumblers to friends and coworkers than I did anywhere else. And it's been fine. I'm kind of using it as more of I wanted to get into it, so why not? And I jumped in head first on that. I bought a cheaper rotary, hated it, returned it, and then bought the Pyburn grip. And let me tell you, that thing is phenomenal. It is.
Jenny just got taller again.
Yeah.
And me.
The ease of like setting it up from cup to cup is completely different than the other one that I had. I had a 4-wheel rotary and I almost just threw it in the trash. Luckily, I could still return it. But if I couldn't, I think it was just going to become a paperweight. But that grip changed my view on rotaries forever. And, but yeah, I'm just doing them mainly for family, friends, coworkers, few orders here and there. But it's not really like taking off. The other part of me is I don't promote myself really. I have Instagram and my website, but I don't push anybody to my website. I don't push people to my Instagram. I just kind of just float in the wind. And if somebody wants something, they kind of know where to go. It's word of mouth, really. So I did a cup for my buddy. He posted it up, and then a couple people from his friend group messaged me. So I'll be doing a couple more, come soon.
Nice.
So it's fun.
Yeah, the grip is really easy to use, because I had heard nightmares about the rotaries and everything. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And the reason I went to the grip is because I do wood turning, and so it reminded me of the chuck on the lathe. I'm like, well, I can relate to that already, so okay, I'll try that one, and I do like it. The 1776 clock that you did, so cool. Absolutely love that one. How challenging was it? What did you use to get the casings on there in exactly the right spacing, and how'd you adhere them?
So the casings, that was another project that I had a returning customer send me a picture, and he says, I want you to make this, and I know you can. And I'm like, sure, why not? I never did it. So let's just jump in. So I found a manufacturer out of Detroit who does all like dummy rounds. The only downside to these dummy rounds is they have a BB inside to tell you that they're fake. And so if you shake the clock a little bit, it rattles. And that was the only downfall to it. But to get the spacing, I designed a clock in Lightburn, and then found some like tick marks online so I could kind of get the spacing right. And they did a cardboard template for it. So I did a half moon template, and then kind of just placed them into it. And I used Starbond adhesive to just glue them down, so you don't even see anything holding it. And because I kept on battling, how am I going to adhere these to it? Do I use a 5-minute epoxy? Do I just use some Starbond? I didn't want them to get knocked off or anything. But with that Starbond, they're not coming off.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun project. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I believe you got an order out in the chat there, AJ.
Yeah, I'll put this one up here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Keith says I need a few tumblers, but I'll need them before 2027, so I'll find someone else, AJ. I have same equipment and I'm available.
Links in the description.
You don't want him as a customer.
I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed, AJ, but that Keith was short on a letter there on before.
Yeah, he was.
Oh.
You know, I was worried for Keith's safety at Maker Camp when he stood up on the picnic table, because for him, that's like us standing on like a skyscraper.
You get a nosebleed up there.
I was worried that if he fell off, he was going to be falling for a while.
Oh, man.
It probably took him at least a good half an hour to walk up that picnic table. Anyway, back to the show. Sorry about that.
Back to the show. Go ahead, Matt.
Really heavy. So you say that you use Baltic birch. What other materials are you using for your flags or whatever? What else that you do?
So the flags are all made out of cedar 2x4s from Lowe's. And when I go to Lowe's, I hoard every single good piece of cedar. I go through each pile. I take them all out. They're all over the ground and whatnot. People think I'm crazy when I go there. But
you don't want the curvy ones that are already
no.
Oh,
and I also learned, I learned a while back not to have the pith inside that piece of 2x4 because that has a lot of tension. So I'm weeding through every single one, looking for. They can have a little bit of bow to them. I'm good with that, but like the ones that are really wonky, the ones that are like making a 180-degree turn, I'm going to steer clear. Even though these are wavy, I don't need that in the beginning. I just need them nice and straight.
You want a 6-inch joiner?
No.
Oh, pith.
Yeah.
You could definitely take that away.
And see, the other thing is the other reason really I would get rid of my jointer is because I don't use the jointer for the flags. I have a little jointing jig I made, so I take all the 2x4s, I cut them down to length. I use the jointing jig, rip one side down nice and flat, and then start ripping them into the strips. So every flag that I make from a small size to a large size are 1.5 inches thick. And then anything above that, then I have to become creative a little bit and make them thicker. I like the thick waves, especially on the small and the mediums, because I can get so much character out of them. But those are everything is exclusively made out of cedar. Nice and easy to carve. Burns beautifully, stains beautifully, and smells good too, and looks amazing.
Yeah, there you go. So my next question is: have you ever had a big failure which turned out to be your biggest lesson?
Yes, and I had my very first 4-footer that I was doing, and a 4-foot flag, and the guy said I want it wavy. I glued up these pieces of wood and went to carve, and I carved it, but I carved it really thin. And this was before I knew grain orientation. You know, you should flip them you should alternate the grain. And let me just say, it potato chipped on me bad. And I'm trying to hide this. I'm almost in tears because this is my first one. I want to put out something really good to a customer. He's paying, back then that 4-footer was like $400. To me, $400, that's a lot of money. You're paying me to make something. I want you to get the best thing you can. And let me tell you, he came, he saw it, he goes, I absolutely love it. And of course, the person that I am, I had to tell him it's cupped really, really bad. So he said, no problem, that's fine. He goes, if anything happens, I'll let you know. He sends me a picture maybe a month later. He shows me a picture of it hanging up on his wall. He goes, I absolutely love this flag. And I get so many compliments on it. And I was like, it hasn't blown apart yet? You sure that's the same one? But from then I learned, grain orientation. I learned on the thickness I need for a 4-foot flag, what I should and shouldn't do. So I would probably say that was probably one of my biggest failures. Failure that turned into an accomplishment, but it was a failure in my book. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So,
I've had one of those on some countertops I built. I did them, came out, unclamped them, and the next day I came out and those things looked like a freaking coffee cup. They were so bad. It's terrible.
It's a bad feeling. And especially when the customer sees it too.
Well, I was the customer, so I had no choice but just to do it all over again.
Yeah, right.
So is there anybody out in the maker community that you look up to or would like to meet that inspires you?
Ooh. Yeah, there's a few people. There's you're putting me on the spot now. I can't think of anybody.
Just go with Keith.
Yeah, well, I met him already. He's old news at that point.
Oh gosh.
But
Kind of the show.
man, I honestly, years ago I wanted to meet Jonathan Katz-Moses really bad. I loved the way he did his videos. I liked the way he taught everyone. He's one guy I watched a lot. And actually, you know, I did get to meet. Okay, I could say I would like to meet Jimmy DiResta again and really learn from him. I met him at Maker Camp 2 years ago, and I also made a flag for him that he presents proudly in his kitchen. So it's I made it with his Maker logo, the stained glass logo that he has. Yep. But I would like to, you know, be in the shop with him, learn from his techniques, and just oversee him. So if it would have to be anybody, I would honestly say it would have to be Jimmy DiResta again. You know, a lot more time with him. Let's put it that way.
It's hard to get some time with that guy, huh?
Yeah, it is. I was shocked. He was standing behind us at Maker Camp, and my wife goes, "That's the guy." And I was like, "What?" So I turn around and literally he turned around, and it's almost he connected with me on such a friend level. I felt like I knew him for years because it wasn't like a weird, awkward meeting. Went right into just conversation, and then we just talked, and it was really, really cool. Really nice guy.
Cool. Nice. I think we got time for a speed round. You down for that?
Sure.
There you go.
Okay. If you could go back when you first started woodworking and starting this business, what advice would you go back and tell yourself?
Do it differently.
Do
everything. Set up a website first, and then learn about taxes. Let's put it that way.
Taxes.
I'd say
Taxes, the business side of it.
Yeah, I'd say more business oriented. Yeah, and organization.
Nice. Okay, so I saw a picture of you, or maybe it was a reel, and you're doing the carving, and you're just absolutely covered in dust.
Yeah.
Are you relegated to changing clothes before you step foot in the house, or how do you clean yourself off before you get in the house and get in trouble?
Those are rare occasions because that's when I set up a tent in my garage and carve. I hate doing that. So most of the time I'm outside and I'll just blow myself off with some air and whatnot.
I can run like the wind blows.
Rose.
Look at honey, there's that crazy man running up and down the driveway again.
Well, you know Pigpen from
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown, thank you. I literally just touch myself every once in a while, and just this cloud of dust just comes off of me, and I'm like, well, I just gotta blow myself off with some air, and I'm good. I miss a few spots in my head, and then you see it behind my ears, and my wife's like, you missed a whole bunch back there.
So you said, AJ, earlier that you listen to music while you're doing all this kind of stuff. What kind of music you listen to?
Everything.
Everything. At one time?
Yeah. But I'm not a huge music person, even in the car or working. I get into my spurts where I really like music. And then most of the time I am a diehard Opie and Anthony fan. So I listen to all their old stuff when they were on XM, satellite radio, and even before that. So I'll just listen to old episodes on repeat, and or I'll even catch a podcast or two, while I'm down there. But for music, it ranges. I'll go from Taylor Swift to techno to EDM to rock, everything and anything.
works it up and you shake it off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Take off the dust
I'm
cloud.
not a
Shake
true
it off.
I'm not a true Swiftie, but if she comes on, I'll jam out.
There you
There
go.
you go.
There's no video. It didn't happen.
He's a believer.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, no Bieber. That's it.
All right. So I know I won't get the same answer as before because I'm going to reword it. What is your workshop version EDC?
Well, you're
Good job,
lucky
Jamie.
because in Jersey, that's kind of illegal, so I can't do that. But I usually have, I don't have it on me right now, but I have a Leatherman Surge on me every single time of the day. I wake up with it on me and I go to sleep with it on me. And that is my biggest EDC that I can. I actually just sent it out for warranty, so I feel kind of naked. I'm using my old one, which is not that great. But yeah, Leatherman Surge is my go-to.
Well done, Jamie.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
Nice recovery, Jamie.
My question is, if space wasn't an issue or you had whatever, what would be the next tool you'd like to put in the shop?
Ooh, oh man, that's a real tough one because I'd love a larger laser, but honestly, I would probably say a saw stop, only just because it gives me that peace of mind. I could get something more powerful and whatnot, and yeah, I'm gonna stick with saw stop.
There you go. Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, AJ, appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's been a very enjoyable show. Now's the time that we kind of just go around the table here and just kind of show, let everybody know what we got going on. And if you have anything coming up or want to tell anybody out there what how to reach you, we've got all your stuff down in the description below. But if you want to go ahead and do that right now, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you can reach me at CraftedInNJ on Instagram. You can send me an email at craftedinnj@gmail.com. And also, just so everyone knows, in NJ does mean I live in New Jersey because I've had quite a few people ask me where I'm out of.
I'm out of coffee.
Coffee.
So, and then just got a ton of different things coming up. I got a lot of projects. That crib build is going to be a big project that I can't wait to start or really get into. Let's put it that way. And I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a blast.
Cool.
Hey, Chris.
All right, Jenny Jen.
Hey, thanks for joining us, AJ.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better. And I have a couple weeks where I'm not completely slammed. So I have a few orders to get out from last weekend's event and some family stuff going on. And that's about it.
There we go, Matthew.
Just got done casting that big resin table, 5 foot by 24 inches in no-con blue.
I imagine that.
And I'm doing some axe throwing targets
Nice.
for a Christmas party coming up, and that's about what I got going on right now.
Jamie.
I am going away to a woodworking and power show exhibit for a couple of days, so I'm going to be out of the shop. But I've still got my regular videos and stuff coming out, and then back to normal scheduling on Monday.
Nice.
We have Saturday morning cartoons on Saturday. Jamie is refusing to do the show with us, so we're going to have Joey's going to do the best he can at being Jamie impression. We're also going to have Jenny doing the wing lady stuff. So come and see us. We're going to do some cool stuff.
Cool.
Joey?
There you go. I achieved a big milestone. Finally got the 3D printer
at
deal
that.
done. Look at that. No per day. I'm going to now work on the corner desk table or desk, not table, but desk. And yeah, that's what we've got going on in the shop. I want to thank AJ again. Thank everybody out in the chat. Please remember to go leave us a review. We greatly appreciate it. And a minimum of 10 stars, guys. I want a written
Minimum.
review and 10 stars.
10.
10. I can't say the other part of that, but I want 10.
There you go.
Anyhow, next week we're going to go for round 2 with DM Miller Designs, Mr. David. Hopefully his Wi-Fi's are working. And other than that, we'll see y'all next week. Same place, same time, same beautiful faces. And we're out of here. Bye-bye.